Hello, my love, and welcome back to the 111-day Mind, Body, Soul series. This is day 10. Hi, welcome. If you're new to this series, this is a 111-day series that I created as an accountability and an experiment for myself for the next 111 days to find a sacred balance between the masculine and the feminine. My name is Kylie Null. Hi, my love. If you're new to this space, I am a spiritual and success realignment mentor, as well as a trauma-informed energy healer, old soul, rebellious old soul of the internet, and I've made it my mission in this lifetime to help women go through the depths of their healing so they can step into their divine and sovereign power. And today's topic is something that I've really been sitting with for the past few days. TMI, but also not TMI, because that is what this space is for. My cycle started, my bleed started on Sunday, and it's literally going through the process of this like menstrual cycle for the past, what are we now on? It's like Wednesday, so it's about like 4 days. For the past 4 days has really just forced me to connect more into my feminine side. It really forced me to reflect on what it means to be a woman and how as women we naturally flow with these cycles, and actually just bring this conversation to the table because I feel like it's so important. So in today we're looking at like the mind, body, soul balance, and really the conversation is coming around like, as a woman, how are you honoring yourself? Now, as women, we have flows, we have cycles, we go through a rebirth and a shedding every single month. And it's so interesting for me to see, and it's been a lot of the work I do with my clients too has been around healing the relationship with their womb, being able to create a healthy and like sustainable equilibrium within, and just to be able to feel connected to that feminine side. Now, it's so interesting for me to have this conversation because I remember a few years back, like I honestly did not like my period at all. As a child, I used to be a heavy bleeder. It was super painful. It was just a like gross space to be in. And then suddenly when I became older, my period was something that I was like, if I can do anything at all to like prevent this from happening, to like not have to deal with this every month, I would. So I had the Mirena put in for quite a few months. I think it was not a few months, a few years. I was on it for about 3 to 4 years, I think, maybe more. And I remember one day just literally, and that was the same period of my life when I decided I was no longer going to be on any like antidepressant medication. I stopped all psychiatric medication, and I was like, right, I want to connect with my body. I want to feel more connected to myself. And so I naturally just had this like feeling within me that the Mirena had to leave, because I'm like, no, this is one of the things that's also stopping me from having a natural cycle. During that stage, I was still fitness coaching. So I actually started to do more research on cycle syncing and how can we connect like the way that we move, the way that we exercise, what we eat to our cycles every month. And so naturally my interest there really started with cycle syncing. And now fast forward a few years, it's like quite a few years down the line. This is about 2016, 2018. Fast forward now down the line, and I've now been able to heal my body and my relationship with my body, as well as just the inner mechanics of my body, to bring it to a state of equilibrium where I don't have periods that are so volatile anymore. It occurs naturally. I have a consistent bleed, like all these beautiful, healthy things. But as I've been going through this like bleed the past few days, it really forced me to slow down. On Monday, I was like, okay, I can just like do my client calls and like the things I have to do. But I was literally taking like frequency naps throughout the day. I was listening to hypnosis sessions. Like it was a very like internal space to be in. Same for Tuesday. Tuesday was a little bit more internal, and today is the first day I'm like, cool, like I'm closing off my bleed, but I'm feeling like I'm climbing out of my hermit shell, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm ready to like dive back into the world. And this process really made me think about like, how as women are we denying our natural cycles? And I'm not just speaking about like, oh, denying your period and, you know, you have to like convert your entire life to cycle syncing. But I want to use the example of having a cycle as a metaphor here. And to really like tune in and look at like how as women have we forced ourselves to become very robotic in nature, which has only caused us to live further and further away from our natural alignment. If we look at like the female is naturally intuitive. She naturally flows with cycle. Like before we subscribed to the Gregorian calendar that we use now in this day and age, they literally tracked time and would look at like what a period of a month would be according to the lunar cycles and how the lunar cycles matched with the woman's bleed. So if a woman would have a bleed close to the new moon, they would know that it is now like a new moon, a certain time of the day or month or year. And same with like the full moon. And they would literally measure time according to menstrual cycles. How bizarre, how powerful are we as women? Time was literally measured according to our bleed, our womb, our uterus, like amazing. So knowing this fact, it's super interesting to look at how far off as women have we distanced ourselves from this natural cycle of living, from knowing that we're not here to hustle and push 24/7, that there's periods where we feel very inspired to take action, to like go for it. And then there's periods where we're like, oh no, like I just want to be a little bit more hermit and a little bit more internal. And we naturally go through these cycles. And this thought really led me even further to thinking about, well, if you think about how society has set itself up in the workforce, in what is determined to be successful, in what's determined to be hard work, there's always this narrative of consistency, but this consistency very much so presents itself in like a very robotic. Words are like amusing today. I have the most strangest things coming out of my mouth. In case you're wondering, my little pup is sitting on my leg. Say hi, Zeus. Yeah. Are you not impressed that I just put you on camera? Okay. Not impressed at all with me. That we now are in this like nature of how society has set itself up, that consistency is praised as the norm. Consistency is praised as the yardstick for success. But where are we, especially as women, where are we taking this consistency and turning it into roboticism, where it's literally forcing us to feel like we are just floating robots? Like we are just trying to push through and like, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm having a bleed right now, like fuck that, I need to push hard, I need to go to the gym, I have to grind it out. Like, where are we denying ourselves of our own natural cycles? And if you're curious about this, like there's two places where I feel like as women, we can really connect in with our cycles. One is your natural bleed and connecting to that process. Now, if you experience unnatural bleeds for whatever health reason it may be, maybe it's because of PCOS, like I mentioned, a lot of my clients that I do healing work with is around this. Perhaps there's other reasons. Then it's really an invitation for you to become curious and be like, how can I create more equilibrium? And even more of an invitation to dive into the inner work, whether it's mindset and especially energy work. Because I very much feel and believe that our womb as women holds one of our greatest intelligence. Like it's always said to be that it's the mind and the gut. But I feel as women, we have this third superpower, which is the mind, the gut, and the womb. And we very much have our heart. We have our mind, heart, womb connection. And so if you find that there is this disconnect with your womb center and with your bleed, then I invite you to explore this, because that then means that there is a deeper disconnect within your body and within that space. And it's definitely something that can be enhanced, is not the word I want to say, but healed with an energy healing and the mindset work. So realizing that we have these three brains as women, like how can we connect more with our cycle? How can we actually start to understand how our body operates and use that to our advantage? Like literally in the past, on Sunday and Saturday, and no, I lied, not Saturday, on Sunday afternoon and Monday and Tuesday, which was yesterday, I literally in these 2.5 days ate more than what I usually do eat. And I'm on this 111-day challenge. I have an incredible, I'm very excited. I have a photo shoot with one of my really good friends on the 11th of November, 11/11, which is like, I think 33 or 32 days away. I started like a countdown timer because I was like, I love me a countdown. So I have this photo shoot coming up, and last night I had ice cream with my husband. I was like, babe, do you want to have an ice cream? He's like, yeah, I want ice cream. I'm like, let's go get ice cream. And I realized throughout these 3 days, I was like, these are 3 days, like 2.5, 3 days out of the entire like month where my body is yearning for more food because I am literally bleeding and excreting, and that takes a lot of energy. And so actually allowing myself to like eat the healthy food, like I was snacking on more like fruit than normal because obviously during our bleed, our body craves energy. So sugar is one of those substances that it like just wants to take in, and craving more carbs and sugar. And so I like took my healthy carbs, I took my sugars, had some dark chocolate, we had some ice cream. And I was like, great, like how can I nourish myself? Because my body right now needs that support. I'm going through a bleed. And being able to nourish myself the past few days, I've had such incredible realizations come in. And I feel like whenever we go through our bleed as women, it's literally a shedding of the old so we can step into the new. And so as I've allowed myself just to connect in with, you know, my body and connect in with my bleed and allow myself and give myself the permission to slow down where I need to, as opposed to just pushing and making this mean something about me, because we have so many stories attached to what it means to be successful, for hard work, if you're good enough. Like, how often did we ever get the chance? Like, I know this wasn't my reality as a child, but to get the chance to just sit and chill, as opposed to being, you have to be productive every single like second of the day. There's no space to just breathe. And so like, even considering in these times when I'm going through like a menstrual cycle, my body wants to rest. I am feeling called to rest and recharge, because this is when we're able to then integrate and allow things to drop in so we can move on to our next level. And like, where are we denying ourselves these periods of rest as women? Because we have all these narratives of toxic masculinity, of what wounded femininity even looks like. We have all these narratives of success and hard work like thrown down onto us, but we aren't fully actually being like, no, this is not my truth. I don't have to operate like this. And I was having a conversation with my energy healer yesterday, which was really cool, where we were speaking about this exact thing of like how we are wired differently, and there's a way and there's a reason why our energy operates differently than men. Yet we've been made to believe that we have to make it in a man's world as a woman in order to be successful, which then only causes us to sacrifice ourselves in so many places, to sacrifice our energy, to sacrifice our natural ability to create, to have that creative energy, that natural ability to just flow and be intuitive and literally create magic. Like, women have this divine ability to literally create magic, but we've allowed ourselves to distance so far away from that. And so it's so interesting that even just this conversation around like our menstrual cycles, like how are we not fully connecting into our menstrual cycles? Because your menstrual cycle is such a beautiful period for you to connect more even deeply into yourself. Like, just before your bleed, you have a surge of some of the most powerful energies yet. On Saturday, just before my period started on Sunday, I ran to the gym, had such a good run, had such a great pace, which then ended up being an incredible leg session. On Sunday, I went for a hike. Like, my energy was pumping. And I utilized that energy and I moved with it. And it was this divine, like, masculine energy that just poured through me. And then this beautiful period of rest that happened afterwards as my bleed commenced. So where can you utilize, as you're listening to this, like, have a think about, like, where am I not allowing myself to fully live in alignment with my natural rhythm and flow, especially as a woman? as opposed to having taken this robotic success equation that's been created of consistency equals success, but this consistency has become robotic. It's become a way of being like, ooh, blood, sweat, and tears, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna show up. And I'm like, nah, guys, like I did that. I showed up blood, sweat, and tears for a very long, in multiple periods of my life, to be quite honest. Like I literally have like flashes happening right now in front of me where I can identify periods of my life when I was just trying to be that robotic, consistent person. And I'm like, that burns me the fuck out. I was sacrificing myself in those places. There was an energy of feeling like I had to prove myself to be consistent. Like this consistency was giving me a good goal badge. And I just felt further away from who I was, and I didn't fucking enjoy that. Whereas opposed to having this conversation of consistency, we're like, what about constancy? I'm constant in my vibration. I'm constant in who I am. I'm constant in how I show up for the world and who I show them I am. I'm constant in those things. But it doesn't mean that I have to show up robotically, doing the same thing day in and day out, because that's not the way the intuitive woman flows. The intuitive woman has a wild energy to her. She shows up differently. She moves differently. She doesn't subscribe to robotic living. So I want you to tune into that today, my love. And I feel like this is a really potent message for day 10. Is where are you subscribing to robotic living? And perhaps this is an invitation for you to see, how can I live more in alignment with the cycles of nature? We are cyclical beings. We love to move in cycles, but we've moved very far away from our natural roots. We've moved very far away from nature, forcing us to live in this very like structure, which for a lot of women, if we had to be very honest, they're either in these spaces and living in these robotic structures because it gives them an illusion of safety and control and it's all that they know, or they feel like they can't fully trust their own natural flow or instincts, so they'll rather just like subscribe to the roboticism so they can switch off mentally and just be like, okay, I'm gonna just show up consistently and just like switch off and just keep showing up because I know when I show up in that consistent manner, I'll just get the results. So I'm not even gonna think about it. Fuck the fear, fuck anything else. I'm just gonna show up and like switch off and be a robot, and then the success will come. That's not living. That's a form of dissociation within itself. That's not living. As opposed to stepping into an energy of self-trust, as opposed to stepping into an energy of I get to flow and life naturally flows with me. And let me know in the comments below, like, if you'd like me to speak more about cycle syncing and bring up like the menstrual cycle here to like YouTube, I can do that. I'll definitely want to speak more about that because I feel like it's so important to learn how we can support ourselves with our menstrual cycles to actually perform better, tap more into our potential as women, but also feel more expansive. And then of course, another beautiful way of syncing this up is actually in alignment with the moon. So my loves, I feel like this was such a beautiful episode. I hope this provokes and sparks up some thoughts for you. I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.